What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about SoFi. I want to go over some of the data points, break it down what moved it, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So SoFi went up 4.04%, 25.95 the low, 26.72 the high, and 44.8 million shares being traded. 68 is the average. So kind of low volume, but again, as per usual, it's not just SoFi experiencing that, it's kind of happening across the board. There was a couple of things that really boosted the broader market's optimism. One was just Micron's earnings coming in on point. So their earnings was yesterday after hours. And if they would have missed on anything, then it would have been another Broadcom Oracle type of scenario where kind of would have popped the optimism. Aside from that, though, we did actually have some pretty solid data. So we had initial jobless claims coming in at 224,000, forecast of 229. CPI also did come out better than anticipated, so 2.7 versus 3. And luckily enough, the Feds don't actually have an issue with the level of inflation in the broader market. Their main issue is housing and labor. So ultimately, the market actually took this positive data as a true positive. Crazy shocker, right? So in general, it's good to see that, but nonetheless, that's pretty much what moved the broader market higher. SoFi actually did put out some pretty solid news. So SoFi launches a fully reserved stablecoin to power financial infrastructure for banks, fintechs, and enterprise partners. So this is huge, huge stuff. And given most kind of companies go radio silent during this holiday period, it's definitely goes to show that SoFi is relentless, that they are just kicking ass and taking names. But nonetheless, this news really shows that SoFi is building a massive infrastructure and that they're trying to prove to Wall Street that they're not just a neobank and not just a lending platform. They're so much more. So they're starting to kind of enter into the whole Visa Stripe type of scenario. Plus, with this, SoFi actually has a little bit more of a competitive advantage over other stablecoins, and that's just because of the regulatory kind of approvals that they have. So in general, I think SoFi is going to be definitely big things are going to be coming for it. And from that recent podcast, 2026 is going to be huge for SoFi. But when it came down to the volume today, so for those of you that are new to the channel, I always like to break it down on kind of where volume comes from and so forth. Of that 44.8 million, surprisingly enough, you actually did have a lot of it linked to algorithmic trading. So quickly showing you this. So from the flow, there was a lot of algorithmic trading kind of moving it. And so it was piggybacking off the optimism, and that's why you saw many stocks kind of showing green today. So this is the flow right here. I'll cycle back to this once I go over the technicals near the end of the video. But surprisingly enough, AI, this is why it's such a powerful thing, algorithmic trading, because if we actually look at the secondary market, it actually paints a different picture. It shows institutions selling. Possibly one reason why they might be selling is that big announcement that is coming out this evening at 9 p.m. and that is the Bank of Japan interest rate decision. I'm not going to dwell on this and go over it because I've already kind of said my piece on why this is a big deal, but definitely very odd stuff to see institutions selling. So all the big ones, with the exception of this one, 1.95, 1.4, so those ones were buys. Everything else sells, so 53.6, 9.5, 7.8, so forth and so forth. These are some of the transactions that did occur on the dark pool. So big one is 5.3, that was done after hours, 3.6, 2.2. Dark pool is a little bit more hard, difficult to kind of distinguish whether these are buys or sells, but usually this is used by shorts as well as kind of hedge funds. Hedge funds, typically you can kind of see the hold numbers. So anything like that, like 33,000, 30,000, that's typically them. Anything odd, that's usually kind of shorts. But shorts, surprisingly, they did increase 172,000 shares. 9.15% of the free floats being shorted, works out to be 113.4 million shares overall being shorted. So still see some signs of naked shorting. So shares on loan being 109.8 million. Number of shares being shorted, as I just mentioned, 113. So still some sketchiness is happening behind the scenes with SoFi. And aside from that though, looking at the options, we had 26 million in calls, 11 million in puts, and then 42% of all the options being done were bullish in nature. So we did see relatively low volume though. So, and that's been, again, matching with the overall common stock, just low volume. So 36 million, that was done today, 48 yesterday, 30 the day prior, 45. When things were really heating up for SoFi, like we were in the triple digit at least. So everything was like 124, 277,000 or 277 million. I don't know if I've been saying 1,000 or million this whole time, so my apologies. It's all million. 161 million and so forth and so forth. So yeah, lately institutions must be just really just sitting on the sidelines waiting for some big either announcement that we're gonna give the green light that we can move higher, or potentially, you know, that black swan event that I've been indicating. But from a bull standpoint, you still see a certain level of optimism for it to be kind of between that 27 to 28 for the most part. Bears are anticipating for it to be sub 25.50 to 26. So you kind of have that little bit more of a back and forth. With tomorrow being Friday, just take a mental note of this. So we have 6,000 at that 25, 11,000 at the 26, 26 at the 27,000, or I'm saying everything wrong. It's been a long day, my apologies. At the $27 strike price, 16,000 at the 27.50 strike price, and then 32,000 at that $28 strike price. So there you go, said it all right. Aside from that though, with it at 26.29, it is smack dab in the middle between this S1 and this S2. The high for today was 26.72, so kind of within this range. So that 26.48, I don't really consider that a strong resistance because SoFi kind of just burst higher from that. So that's, again, something just to watch for. 26.09 followed by 25.48 is going to be the next strong support level. So kind of just watch for those. Aside from all that fun stuff, on the actual chart itself, still, even though it had a pretty good day, still not the greatest, only because it did still close below that 100 and also 10-day moving average. So generally kind of signals that we are going to be consolidating a little bit more. Stochastic RSI is considered very oversold, so a good piece of news you would think in theory would cause some institutions to really buy, but based on what I showed you, kind of shows the opposite. So I think we just need to get the whole Bank of Japan type of interest rate hike, just pull it off like a band-aid, do whatever the market wants to do with the damage, and then that way it'll be behind us and we can kind of move forward from here. And plus what they say afterwards, again, hopefully it won't really cause so much doom and gloom. So let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. Give yourself a shout out if you did buy, if you sold, or what did you do with SoFi. If SoFi, for whatever reason, does get to that 25.50 range tomorrow, I feel like that is where I will start to sell more puts. And I really recommend anyone, whether that be with SoFi or any other stock, if you're going to be buying a stock, consider selling a put, because you can kind of buy it for the price that you ideally want, and then you get a premium as well. So it's a win-win for a lot of individuals. So let me know your general thoughts. And then one final thing, if you are looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, pop over to my Patreon. I put out daily day trades, numerous swing trades, worthwhile to pop over there and check that out. With all that, appreciate all you watching.